ولسلامتكم وسلامة جميع خدمة أبي عبد الله الحسين طيبوا مجلسنا هذا بالصلاة على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين، لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين، مولانا الإمام صاحب العصر والزمان، ولي أمرنا ولي نعمتنا، عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف وسهل مخرجه وجعلنا من خير أنصاره وأعوانه، وذلك بفضل الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد. My honorable brothers and sisters, my elders, respected fathers, mothers in faith, my equals in humanity, I take this opportunity and begin by extending to you my deepest condolences on this day, which marks a very tragic event, the martyrdom of Abu al-Fadl Abbas, salamullahi alayh, this individual who was attributed by the Imam which gave him the position and told him that you are my back, which basically means that the movement of Al-Imam al-Hussein salamullah alayhi relies on Abu al-Fadl Abbas. On this day, we ask Allah to help us consider Abu al-Fadl Abbas as a role model for our actions, for our movements, for our knowledge, and reflect upon his essences, his teachings, to ascend as people and to become individuals who are civilized, who act upon morals, ethics, and values. Yesterday we touched upon a very significant topic, which is connection and how we as individuals should connect, and how balanced should our connection be, our connection to our surroundings, our connection to cases, our connection to topics, to events, to people. Today, I'm going to take the topic and orientate it to another path. I'm going to be discussing what does it mean to be successful and how to become a successful individual. Now, according to psychology, the definition given to the word successful, they say that being successful is basically, and this is a very important definition you guys should take a look at. They say being successful is basically attaining the level or the status or the position you demand and you want. So as an example, if I want to become a farmer, if that's my dream, and I attain that position, I become a farmer, I am considered successful. This is according to psychology and according to the linguistic definition of the word. Now, so between brackets, being successful is basically reaching the level that you want. Now, a person named Albert Einstein, you guys know him. He's a very popular individual. I want to share his story with you guys. One day, Albert Einstein, when he was a kid, he came back home with his backpack, his lunch in his bag. He came back home, as usual, had lunch. His mother opened his bag. She started searching through his agenda and books and stuff like that. She found a letter. She took that letter, she opened it, and she saw a message directed from the school board and from the teacher and from the school to her, to the mother. She read the letter, she was shocked. The letter said, "Dear mother, dear respected mother, your son is a person who is of low class. He does not understand the topics that we teach. Between brackets, he's a person that is dumb. He doesn't understand anything. He does not learn. We tried with him once, twice, 10 times, 20, 50. He does not learn. He's failing. So we took the proper measures and decided to disqualify Albert Einstein." So they disqualified him. Albert was like, "Mom, what's wrong with you? What is in the letter?" She closed the letter, put it back. She was like, "Albert, the school sent a letter saying that your son Albert is an individual who is so smart, so great, in which our curriculum is too basic and low for him in terms of knowledge." He was like, am I that smart? She was like, "Yes." She was like, "And that's why they decided to kick you out, not because of you, because the curriculum that they teach is not compatible with your great mentality." Now, she flipped the story around 180 degrees. And now Albert Einstein is the founder of the theory of relativity, special relativity, if you guys have heard of it, which in the field of earth and space science and chemistry, he has a very significant role and an impact in that field. Without Albert Einstein, a lot of the things we know right now, we would have not known or studied it. But thanks to his help and his contribution, we now have developed knowledge proportional to the amount of the information he shared with us. Now, that being said, is Albert Einstein successful? Now, I shared to you one perspective of Albert Einstein. Let me share another perspective. Albert Einstein is married. He got married to a woman that he loved, and she loved him too. Our brother just came in. I'm going to repeat the story. Albert Einstein married a woman that he loved. They lived life happily. Through time, tension started to build up between the two individuals. They reached a level in which they signed a paper at court saying that as long as Albert Einstein and his wife are at home at the same time, they will not talk to each other. Why? Because over time, they reached a level of hatred towards each other, due to tensions and fights every now and then between them. And then, when he won the Nobel Prize, after he proposed the theory of special relativity, he took that money and he gave it to his wife as a dowry to divorce her. And he divorced her. Now, I shared to you one perspective of how he contributed to the field of chemistry and the field of earth and space sciences. But I gave you another perspective of how he failed to manage and to work his relationship with his wife. So is he still successful in your eyes, guys? Can you say that Albert Einstein is successful? Now, we said that according to the linguistic meaning of the word successful, there are different standards for it. This is based on the psychological view and the linguistic meaning. Because the word successful means attaining the level or the goals and the objectives that you have, everybody has different objectives and different levels and different understandings. That means being successful is different for everybody. Now, before I go ahead and answer you or answer the question of what does it mean to be successful, I'm going to share some of the factors that make a person successful. And these are purely according to my perspective. You may have a different perspective and aside. One of the things that make a person successful is being independent. Now, unfortunately, a lot of us are individuals and figures who are dependent on other things. They are dependent on ideologies that don't make sense. They are dependent on poor senses and emotions within them. They are dependent on ignorance. They are dependent on several factors that are not compatible with a civilized personality. Now, I'll give you an example. Youth usually hang out with each other in a group of 4 or 5. And those who don't manage their time, usually in this group of 4 or 5, there's a person that makes the decision. He tends to be the leader who makes the decision. Let's go there, let's go there, let's go to a coffee shop, let's go to that person, visit him, let's go at a party. When you become a person that submits to whatever comes to you, to any external requests that tend to waste your time, or if you were to accept that request without this filtration process, without viewing your time, seeing, because today every one of us is a not one person. Every one of us is a whole community. You may be one, but you have a father, a mother, sister. You have school. You have a house. You have a system in your home which you respond to. So when you submit to your friends and you go around to parties and hang out for 10 hours without examining the conditions you are in, you become a person who is dependent. You depend on other things. You submit to whatever comes to you. That's one thing. Another thing, that's one factor within dependence and independence. Another thing, for example, a lot of people, when they see a friend who is successful, they tend to copy him. Or a person who is successful, they tend to want to copy him. Whatever he does, you do the exact same thing. Whatever path he follows, they follow. Or we have at school right now, this system is going on within the youth between grade 3 and 10. There's always a cool person in class. And this cool person tends to be a person who's smart, or who is attractive, or who is, has money, is rich, has a BMW 2019. People like this tend to be more outstanding class. And people like these, those who are weak or who are dependent, they always follow people like that, whether they are right or wrong. Why? Because they are people who have trained themselves to be dependent on others, to be dependent on people, whether they are weak, whether you know them or not, and it doesn't have to be people. It could be an ideology, it could be a sense within you, it could be something you read. You depend on it. So that's why I tell a lot of people, if you see a person who is successful, don't follow him. Consider him as a role model, but don't copy him. Because you are unique in who you are. If you are dependent and if we are all the same, then we must all look alike. But because we all look different, we are unique in who we are. You may be different than your brother next to you. You may be different than your friend next to you. Different potential, different point of views, perspectives, ideologies, mentalities, genes maybe. Plus, you come to existence alone and you are buried alone. So you're one person Be unique in who you are. Don't depend on others. Don't copy others. If you see a person who is successful, for example, my neighbor, I spoke to him. He was like, I did not enter university. He's an old guy. He's like about 69. His heart works 20%. He was like, I didn't enter university. I finished high school and I stopped. But he was like, I was the third person who have invented some sort of instrument that detects bombs. And this instrument was patented, and then it was bought by many hospitals, and then he became a rich guy. He's my neighbor. I was like, don't you feel weak when you see friends who, they say, you know, I finished my master's degree in this field, or I'm an engineer, or I'm a doctor. He was like, no. I was like, why? He was like, because I am unique in what I am. Maybe I didn't finish university, but my mentality is still developing, and it still holds something unique which makes me me, which makes my personality, my character, my observations different than the person who has maybe completed his master's degree in political science or whatever. Now, this is one factor which could make you successful. Independence, we discussed that. Another factor, reaction. I see this factor a very significant one, because a lot of us don't control ourselves. If you become a person who gets affected by anything and you react to any signal, you're a person who is not successful. Especially if that signal is a negative one. I'll give you an example. On Instagram, so many companies sponsor ads, watches, clothes, it depends, you know, dress for women. I know a person who, all he does is he buys things online, like a phone online, he bought a watch online, clothes, Nike, shoes, tries to be a person who's cool. Why? To look cool in class. I looked at his character, I was like, man, right now your job is, all you do is you sit on your phone and look at sponsored ads. You don't have anything else. People like that are people that will not and are not successful. Why? Because they are people that believe their growth is through materialism. Like, for example, if I'm a person that believes that the only way for me to look good is to buy a shoes that is Nike or Adidas or I don't know, some other companies, or if me becoming cool relies on buying an iPhone XS or having an Xbox or playing video games or having a social media platform, then I'm a person who is not successful. Why? Because these standards society have placed, it's not a divine thing. Social media is not something divine that determines whether I become successful or not. These are things that are placed, these are standards that are placed by society. So when I become a person that reacts, when I become a person that reacts and believes that the only way for me to become a complete human from all sides is from the fact that I have to buy a watch and good shoes and look good and look sophisticated, 100% and attractive, then I'm a person that is weak in essence. Weak. One day, I'll share this story for you fast. One day, there's a father who works at a certain company. He makes money. He's old in age. He's like 60. So he felt that his death is near. and he has one son. He has a son. And this son tends to be lazy. Because every father knows his son. Whether his son is smart, whether his son has initiative, whether his son collaborates. He has a son who is lazy, doesn't like to work, doesn't take initiative, doesn't do things. He told his son, he called him. He told him, in order for you to have all my belongings after my death, inherit, you must go out today and work, and by the end of the day, you must have 2 rupees. It's a currency, just like dollars. It's called rupees. So the son, he's a lazy person. He doesn't like to work. He doesn't like to do things. He went to his mother. He was like, Mom, this and that. His mother was like, you know what? I'll give you the 2 rupees. Go outside, and at the end of the day, come and give it to your father. So he did. He came and ate. His father held the money, did this. And what he did with it is he threw it in a fire. Now, that's the first day. The second day, so when he did that, the son didn't react in any way. He didn't react. Second day, same thing. And the father repeated that act. He repeated that act. Third day, fourth day. The fifth day, the father caught the son. He was like, you're going to your mother and she's giving you the money. And the money is going to waste because I'm throwing it out. At that day, the son felt this sense of shame and he decided to go out and actually get the money, work. So he worked, he got the 2 rupees. He came back, he gave the money to his father. His father held the money and as usual, he threw the money out. I think it was at a waterfall. He threw the money out. When he did that, the son jumped and yelled. He was like, Dad, why did you do that? It's my money. The dad was like, now I know that you are truthful. Now I know that you really worked for this money. Why? Because you reacted. So back to my topic. Reaction means something. A lot of us react. They react, we as humans, we react when we are exposed to provocative ideas, to pictures, to desires. We react, for example, and this happens a lot. At home, your mother calls you, Muhammad, Ali, Abbas, come here. Do this for me. Mom, I don't feel like it. Then she yells at you. And then you decide to yell back at your mother. Once you yell back at your mother, this means that the fact that your mother yelled at you has affected you internally. It means you're weak, you're not successful, you're not independent. You're a person who is dependent and you were affected by external pressures that reflected upon you and made you act in a way that is unethical, unmoral. Now, these are 2 factors that I discussed today. 2 factors that could form a personality that is successful. First one, to go over them, being independent. And by being independent, I'm talking on the social level, not on the spiritual level. Because we have God that we have to depend on. And sometimes we have to depend on our families. My father to teach me, to educate me. To consult my father. Dad, can I do this? Should I do this? You're more experienced. In these situations, you can be dependent to grow. But being dependent to devalue yourself, being dependent by copying others, and not taking advantage of the fact that you are unique, you are a person, an entity. You're a respected figure. In that case, being dependent on other things is very disrespectful to yourself. If you want to disrespect yourself, and I bring this topic up of dependence and independence because our youth right now, they don't draw barriers for themselves. They go out, a lot of them, they go out, they leave their home, their house, without asking permission from their father. That doesn't mean you're independent and you're a grown man. No, it doesn't mean that. It means you're a person who is dependent on your emotion that tells you, man, you're strong, you're big now. Don't ask your father, Dad, can I leave? Just go and leave. You're 19, you're 20, you're 21. Leave the house without asking. You're a person that is dependent, not strong. If you were strong, you would act upon your ethics. You would act upon your true instinct, your true self-disposition that was divinely placed upon you. And you would tell your father, Dad, as a way of respect, I'm going to leave to my work or to meet my friends. And then he will give you permission. See, we got to train ourselves because a lot of us, we have placed our own standards of being successful, which is incorrect. Now, I've discussed factors that make a person successful. Now, I want to introduce the divine headline for becoming a successful person. I believe it was in Surah Al-Ahzab, the Quran has stated. Yes, it's verse 71, and it's very crucial for you guys to write this down to remember the ayah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَمَن يُطِعِ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ فَقَدْ فَازَ فَوْزًا عَظِيمًا. Those who follow their prophets, see, this is being successful. Those who follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Prophet, those people are greatly successful, not successful. See, today my topic was successful and how to become successful. The Quran took things to the next level. How to become successful at a great level. If you want to become successful, then follow God and the Prophet and the Imams. Now, this is the divine standard. Whether you submit to the standard or not, the standard is solid. It's not going to change. It's constant. It's continual. It's universal. So in order for us, brothers and sisters, to become people who are successful, because see, if you become a doctor, a professor, whatever you want to be, okay? How much you ascend in knowledge in the academical field, if you're a person who does not build his life upon this standard, which is worshipping and submitting to God's word and the Prophet's word, then you're not going to be a person who enjoys his life. You're not going to be happy. You're going to be disturbed because you have built your life upon a foundation that you know that is weak. And if a foundation is weak, your building will collapse. Now today we are commemorating the martyrdom of Abu al-Fadl Abbas salamullah alayhi. He's a person who I feel shy to say he's successful because he is the source of success. I cannot say he's successful. He himself is a source of success. One of the signs that depicts that he is independent and strong and has submitted to the divine standard of being successful, which is worshipping God and His Prophet and the successors, which are the Imam, he never called his brother by his name. Usually us brothers, we say, what's up fam? What's up? Some terminologies that I don't want to mention right now. We use these words. We think using these words gets us or are a sign of being close to a person. But again, these are standards we have put. If you say, "What's up, fam?" it does not mean you are close to that person. Based upon your standard, it is. Based upon your incorrect standard, imprecise, yes. But based upon the divine standard, what Abu al-Fadl Abbas did depicts a personality that is successful. He used to call his brother master. My master, my leader. Now, in order for us to really ascend, to really understand, to really become people who are civilized, people who are mentally aware of things that go on, physically good looking, internally undisturbed, externally good looking again, we must hold tight to the foundation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala placed. Which again, I want to conclude with by saying, God has said, if you build everything in your life upon this foundation, trust me, you will not collapse in life. You will become strong through your elementary school, through your high school, through university, through your life, your marriage, and most importantly, your hereafter. We ask Allah on this blessed day to help us ascend in knowledge, to help us consider and submit that Abu al-Fadl Abbas should and is and will remain our role model. Indeed, he is. We ask Allah on this blessed day to help us become true companions of our 12th Imam. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين.